So I'm joined by AJ MacGinty here on the rundown, a special rundown, a Premiership rundown, because there is a big game coming up on TRN. It is Bristol Bears versus Bath. But AJ, good to see you, buddy. How are you getting on?
Very good, Hills. Very good. Great introduction.
How are you? Well, look, I'm trying my best. And how are you feeling? Because everyone, I'm sure, who has watched you and kept an eye on you, you've come back from injury recently, a nasty hamstring injury. How are you? How's the body? You're getting a little bit older now, mate. So how's the
body? Actually pretty good. Pretty good right now. I think the first two games back was probably just over enthusiastic and flying into stuff, getting my sort of nose in the wrong business. So I was pretty sore after our first two games, but following the third game, feeling a bit sharper, a bit more up to speed with stuff. Because that's, I think, always the worry is just the fitness level. So, body's feeling good.
And talking about those previous sort of couple of games, I know coming off the back of Europe and a loss to your old boys, Connacht away, but also a great win last round 11 in the Premiership, Sale Sharks. Again, another one of your former teams. What's the kind of mood in camp going into a massive West Country derby in what is, I'm sure, a really big game to try and pick up a result?
Yeah, I think it's obviously like excitement going into this game. I think sort of the atmosphere around the place, it's a sellout crowd, Bath are flying. As you mentioned, like we beating Sale away was a huge win for us, and to go up north and get that win, I don't think they'd been beaten in a long time. So we were off the back of a great win, but then coming into Europe, we've sort of, I don't know, dipped in form or not executed as well as we can. So this is, I think, looking at the Premiership table, this is obviously, it's a huge game being a massive derby, our closest rivals. And then just for that jump up the leaderboard as well, going into the break, there's going to be like a 6-week break for the Six Nations. So, it's important to get a few more points before we go into the break. And then when we come back, obviously refreshed after sort of this long stint, and then sort of flying into the last block of the Prem. So
now thinking back to the last time that you played Bath, I think it was something like, was it round, I want to say earlier on the season, maybe sort of round 6 or 5, and it was a 20.19 win for Bath at the Rec. Have you looked back at that game and seen things that you can really put right and potentially turn that result around? Because they're going well. They're a good team at the moment.
Yeah, listen, they're going very well. I think that game was probably just like the conditions in that game was, I think going into this weekend with the weather being a bit better, probably be a bit more expansive game, faster paced game, which probably plays to both their hands. Big physical pack Bath, and then their backs have been carving off the back of that. So that front football they've been getting, and big powerful wingers, flair, 9 and 10. So and like, listen, flair and power in the centres too. So it'll be a huge challenge for our backs, and I think for our pack up front. Listen, this is going to be a real physical battle, and I think their form off the back, I'm sure they're over in Toulouse and played very well, but had a narrow defeat. But they're flying high, so they'll be hopping their way into Bristol, and we got to shut them up, I guess.
Now, you've been at Bristol since, I think, 2021, if I'm right, under Pat Lam. You were with Pat Lam before at Connacht as well, back a few more years ago. Talk to me about the sort of working with Pat, the goals for Bristol this season. You want to win on the weekend to try and get yourself towards that top 4. Is that being talked about at the moment?
Yeah, well, I think it's always in the back of everyone's mind. It's something probably when you sit down at the start of the year, that's the target, get top 4, with the aspirations of going on and winning it. I think Bristol over the last years we've underperformed, and I think for the city, it's a sports mad city. The fans are unbelievable, and it's just a case of performing well. It was, I think, the excitement and the buzz around the place when you're getting results is incredible. My debut was last year. It was a home game against Bath, and for a Premiership, for a Prem game, it was like the noisiest and the biggest crowd I think I've ever played in, where you can't even hear the call. So it's probably a bigger crowd this weekend. So I'm expecting you're not going to hear anything around you. So it's going to be like instinct and playing. So it's exciting. But as a group, listen, any any player, I guess it's obviously very difficult because everyone's gearing for the same thing, but it's that top four. Put yourself in the spot for a playoffs and anything can happen. So that's why I said that Sale win was massive for us, and I guess we have to back that up with another Prem win.
So if you beat Bath at home, does it maybe signify like a successful season? A West Country derby like this, is a season kind of dependent on making sure that you beat your neighbours?
I'm obviously new to this area, but I think every Bristol fan here would be like they want one up on Bath. Players as well. You know, I've been out injured. Genji was out injured, so doing the rehab and just speaking to him about what drives him and what's his big games and what does he feel going into Prem games. And obviously England's the peak for him, but he said growing up it was like, I just want to beat Bath. You know what I mean? That was the big thing for him growing up as a kid around Bristol. So like that kind of signifies how massive it is to me, like almost like the football derbies, the football rivalries in the Premiership. So it's a huge game. Like it means a lot to the people. So I think it's in our interest to reward them with a win, no matter how it is, ugly or not. The whole place will be buzzing. So yeah, it's important to win Saturday.
Well, AJ, it's been great to have you on the rundown. We wish you the best of luck going up against Bath this weekend. It's TRN Match of the Week. AJ MacGinty, thank you for joining us on the rundown.